a holiday, a quiet night. But in a matter of seconds, all that changed. Today I bring you the haunting murder case of Igor Komarov, a tourist mercilessly killed in the holiday paradise, Bali. Hello you guys, and welcome to the G.M.C channel. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope you guys stick around till the end. I am Esther Vincent. Here I bring you the ghost, the mystery, and the crime stories. I hope you guys would like this. If you do, please don't forget to leave me a like, a thumbs up, maybe a comment, share the video with others. If you have not done so, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. That will really help the channel grow further. I would love to create a small little community with you guys here. And today, this case, it's a pretty brutal one, so let's get into it. So this case, it didn't start off like how most crime stories do. There wasn't an immediate missing person alert that caught everyone's attention, and there wasn't a clear crime scene either. Instead, it began with something far more unsettling: pieces of human body parts. Yes, pieces of human body parts washing up along the Bali shoreline. This was near Katewel Beach, a place that's usually calm, an area where people usually go for their quiet morning walk. But on that day, locals noticed something in the waters that just did not look right. At first, it was confusing. Maybe something caught between the rocks, just floating, moving slightly with the tide. But as people got closer for inspection, that confusion turned into shock. What they had found were human remains, and not just one piece. Over time, more pieces were discovered along the same stretch of coast. It became very clear very quickly that this was not an accident or some natural death. Whoever this person was, they had been killed. Their body part had been cut into pieces and disposed of in the sea. Isn't this scary? So at this point, the authorities were called. They stepped in, sealed off the area, and start trying to figure out these simple questions. Whose body part is this? What happened to him or her? Now, around the same time, a missing person report had already been filed on the island. The name was Igor Komarov, a 28-year-old Ukrainian who had been on the island as a tourist. From everything known, there wasn't anything unusual about his trip. He wasn't reported to be in trouble. He wasn't flagged for anything suspicious. He was just another visitor in Bali having a great time. But on the night of February 15th, 2026, this year, the day after Valentine's Day, something bad happened that completely changed the course of his life. Igor was riding on a motorcycle with a friend in the Jimbaran area. It was a normal night, nothing out of the ordinary, no warning signs leading up to what's about to happen. And then suddenly they were intercepted. Multiple men came running out of nowhere, and before there was even time for them to react, Igor was taken away, kidnapped. Just like that. His friend who was with him, he survived the incident and later reported what had happened to the local police. But the way it was carried out, it did not feel like it happened randomly. It did not look like a robbery gone wrong. It looked coordinated, like the people involved knew exactly who they were after and how they were going to go about kidnapping him. And that's when the case started shifting into something much darker. Not long after the abduction of Igor, a video started circulating on the island. And this is where it gets really uncomfortable because it wasn't a speculation or a theory anymore. It was Igor himself on camera pleading to his family. He looked injured, exhausted, and clearly in distress. In the video, he begged with them to pay a ransom, reportedly in the millions, in exchange for his release. But what made it worse was what he said about what has already happened to him. He said that he had been beaten badly, his ribs were broken, his legs were badly injured, and things were only getting worse. It did not sound like a threat anymore in the video. It sounded like all of those abuse was already happening to him at that point of time. And when you watch the video, you start to realize that by the time you are watching the video, it might have already been too late for Igor, because he was already being badly abused while the video was being taken, right? So who knows when the video was released and when are you or others are even watching the video. So it might already be too late for him, right? Why do people do these kind of things? As investigators started digging in deeper, more details began to surface about where Igor had been taken. Police later linked the case to a rented vehicle that was used during the abduction and eventually to a villa where they believe he was held. Inside, they reportedly found traces of blood, which strongly suggested that this was where he had been kept and tortured. And again, this wasn't something that looked rushed or chaotic. No, the use of a vehicle, the rented villa, the ransom demand, all these pointed towards something that had been premeditated or planned in advance. And at some point during the captivity, Igor was killed. What exactly happened to Igor in those final moments of his life has not been released to the public in detail because the investigation is still ongoing. But what is clear is what happened after he was killed. His body was dismembered into multiple different pieces and just discarded into the ocean. Now going back to the beginning of this video where people saw the body parts washed up ashore on the beach, right? The coastlines. Forensic teams were still working to confirm the identity of the remains that had been found. There were certain identifiers like the tattoos, physical features, but they obviously needed something much more definitive. So DNA testing was carried out. Samples were taken from the remains and compared with Igor's family members, especially his mother, and the results came back after a while, confirming what many of Igor's family members had been fearing. The body parts found along the shores of Bali belonged to Igor Komarov. At that point, the case officially moved from a missing person and kidnapping to a confirmed murder. From there, the investigation expanded quickly. Authorities identified multiple suspects connected to the case, and most of them were foreign nationals and not locals, not Indonesians. One of the suspects arrested was reportedly linked to the vehicle used during the abduction, and it was also discovered that the fake passport details had been used in the process of renting the car and the location. As for the others, several had already left Bali by the time investigators even closed in. And this leaves the case in a place where it feels very much unfinished. Even though parts of it had been uncovered, like the abduction, the ransom, the video, the car, the location, all of that, there are still huge gaps that needs to be filled in. There are still questions like, how deep does this go? Is this a syndicate? Who are they? Where have they fled to? You know, all those things. And that's what makes this story sit a little heavier for me personally, because it started in a place people associate with safety, with holidays, with escape, and then suddenly it just shifts into something so dark, so sudden and violent. Because I have been planning for a holiday in Bali as well from the beginning of this year, but then I've been pushing it away because of the war, the oil prices, and all of that. And then just very recently, I was starting back the planning and thinking like, let's just go, let's screw it, let's just go, have a good time, and whatever may come, let's just see it at that time. And while I was doing that, I came across this case, and I was like, oh dear. I was like, a man arrives for a fun trip, and on a random night, he is abducted in a targeted attack, and then forced into a ransom video, eventually killed. Killed in a way that suggests planning and not impulse. By the time anyone even realizes what's happening, all that's left are fragments. Fragments of both the story and of the victim's body in the center of it all. And even now, the full picture of the entire crime, of what actually happened, just feels a little too out of reach. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys have stayed tuned till this very moment, I hope you guys will leave me a thumbs up, maybe a comment on your thoughts. And if you have not subscribed, please go ahead and do so. It will help the channel to grow and reach more people. If you have time to spare, please watch my other videos that will be popping up around. Until I see you back in my next video, stay safe out there, take care of yourself, and I will see you soon. Bye.